Or we can introduce
I'll briefly introduce your project. You can share your screen right now already. We have Reese from NTU Blockchain Association today that are sharing their really cool project since the last time that we met each other at the opening ceremony. Their project is called Contract Classroom. I believe they're building this platform to promote smart contract education among the beginner coder or crypto hacker community. A little bit brief intro, more detailed intro, is that the users or the learners who are visiting this platform will be able to analyze and tinker with the different smart contract projects currently deployed to gain a holistic understanding of the smart contract behavior through a variety of examples. I'll leave the more detailed introduction of the project to Reese, who I believe is one of the leaders of the NTU Blockchain Society. Reese, you can start anytime now.
Thanks, Steve, for the introduction, and thanks, Justin, for the great presentation. So, I'm Reese, a student from NTU Singapore, and we are actually, and my team, we are actually a team of 4 university students, all from a blockchain club at NTU Singapore, and this is our project for the DoraHacks Hackathon. So, it's a great pleasure to be given the time and opportunity to present, and a huge thanks to anyone who has voted for our project. So, now I'll just move on with my presentation and also a quick introduction to just our background. We're from the blockchain club at NTU Singapore, and hence we are very much focused and involved in the educational aspect of the blockchain space. And as students who are still in our learning stages, we have applied our own experience to validate some of the issues that we find through our own learning journey. And we have also come up with solutions that we feel other beginners in the blockchain space will appreciate. And so we identified the main problem, and that is that we're trying to solve. And as a background, we see that smart contracts now play an indispensable role in accelerating the adoption of blockchain technology in many different industries. Hence, there is a huge demand to learn how smart contracts work. However, learning smart contracts presents a relatively high barrier to entry, as there are many technical concepts to understand before you can even write a usable smart contract for your own use case. And the problem that we identified is that there's still a lack of interactive smart contract tutorials that come with in-depth explanations. And secondly, there's no simple platform for educators to create quizzes or some sort of teaching platform so that they're able to test a group of students or users on their understanding of realistic smart contracts. We believe that these issues need to be targeted to better promote the learning of smart contracts among beginners, and therefore generate or create and nurture even more blockchain developers in the near future. And therefore, we propose Contract Classroom. It's a platform that facilitates interactive and realistic smart contract learning. The platform will have a library of tutorials and guides covering a variety of smart contract behavior. And by following the in-depth step-by-step guide to interact with the smart contracts deployed on the testnet, users can better understand how exactly the smart contract behaves. And this also mimics the process that the user has to go through when deploying his own smart contract on the mainnet. And when we describe this as an interactive learning process, we also mean allowing the learner to learn how to interact with additional tools like MetaMask and block explorers like Etherscan or BSC scan, which is useful as we transition to have more Web3 support. Here, you can see the logic flow of how the platform will be used. A teacher or host will first either deploy a new smart contract on a testnet or choose an existing one. Then they'll proceed to create a step-by-step tutorial in the form of a written article to detail the instructions that a student or user will need to do to interact with the smart contract from their browser. Through this process, the tutorial will also describe a high-level concept of the smart contract's function and how it is being used in a real or practical scenario. This forces the user or student to learn the behavior of the contract and analyze its code from the blockchain explorer itself. And therefore, we believe that this hands-on approach can really help them to learn more effectively through these practical examples. Currently, the platform is more in a prototype phase where the smart contract that exists are deployed by our own team. In the future, we have ideas to expand the current prototype platform to be able to support public contributions, meaning that anyone can use the platform to create these tutorials freely. Furthermore, we can also integrate a multiple choice question quiz functionality to really create a complete learning process for the student or user. And overall, this platform is an interactive and realistic learning platform and teaching tool at the heart of the smart contract development community. It will be complementary to other information sources like the Solidity documentation. And as more people contribute, we definitely see potential here for a sustainable community to be built. Yep, so I'll come to the end of my presentation, and I think I can share my screen to do the demo.
Yes, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the current prototype website that we have, and it supports the Rockstone testnet or the Binance Smart Chain testnet. And it's integrated with the MetaMask plugin, their Chrome extension. So in this case, I created a fake account for this demo purposes, and we'll be using the Binance Smart Chain testnet. So yeah, it's still in development. So there's definitely the different things that we can add on in the future. I think it's just loading. So here we deployed 3 smart contracts, and it'll definitely be more in greater detail, but we can go through the integer storage example. So this smart contract example, it will be, so this will, for example, be an example of a tutorial project. And this will teach the user or the student how to store a number in the blockchain. And here, it will be a guide of instructions, like a list of instructions for them to do. In this case, it's definitely not as detailed as it could be, but we can work it through. So for example, the stored integer in the blockchain is currently 27. And if we want to change the value to, just say 12, the user will follow the instructions typically, learn how to use MetaMask, interact with the smart contract, and we give it a while. You can just visit by clicking this. Yeah, so the transaction has been confirmed, and you can see hopefully here that yeah, so the value has been stored into the account, and you can view the transaction as well. So here, if we refresh the integer, you can see that there is a new value stored in there, and that proves the functionality of the transaction. But the user will still be able to visit things like the contract address and also the transaction address. And this is where they'll also have to analyze the code themselves. Definitely, the instructions or guides in this tutorial page should detail what each line of code exactly does to help the student or user go through this guide. But yeah, this is for demo purposes, and hopefully that brings across the kind of approach and logic that we are going for. And this will work the same for all the other projects that we have. Yeah. So I think that's the end of my presentation.
Awesome. Yeah, like Reese, did you and your team build this during the hackathon, or you have been like building it prior to the hackathon?
So this project has been worked on consistently. So I would say this idea that we developed is only during this hackathon, this contract classroom idea.
Nice, awesome. That's
So
really
we thought about
impressive. Yeah, please.
So we thought about this idea that could make it more than just a place to upload, more than just a simple website. Yeah. So by increasing the number of functions that we have in the website next time around to allow other users like the public to create their own guides and link it in the similar manner to existing smart contracts on the testnet, we can scale it up to become a learning and a teaching tool. Yeah, and this is the idea that we came up with that we feel has scaling potential. Yeah.
Yeah, they really have scaling, but not only can you help new crypto enthusiasts in NTU, you can also scale this to other universities and communities, not only in Singapore, but also in other Southeast Asian countries and essentially everyone in the world. Yeah. Yeah, this could be a really very valuable project to adopters of the crypto space. And we'd love to help you promote your project to a much general audience in the near future if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great.
Yeah, also keep us posted about your updates on maybe more modules and more applications to the system. So currently we see 3, and I hope in the near future there will be more. Yeah, please keep up the good work. In a few days, I believe is the closing ceremony, the grand presentation of all the SEA projects, grand finale for DoraHacks and Binance Smart Chain, Southeast Asia Hackathon, and both Evanesco team and the contract classroom team will introduce their project in the grand finale, together with another 18 projects, I believe, to compete for the final prize. And those 2 amazing projects demoed themselves today, introduced themselves to you guys, to the audience, to the DoraHacks global community. I didn't see any emerging questions on Bilibili at the moment, but if you do have any questions about those 2 projects, reach out to us directly. You can find us via WeChat or Telegram, and we'll help you make the connections between you and the projects. And if you wish to directly fund those 2 projects, also we're here to help. We can help you to establish connections. Let us know. Yeah. Thanks for joining us today, Justin, Bernard, and Reese. And I hope to see you guys soon with your even more updated updates about the project at the grand finale. I believe it is on May 30th. Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep,
Yeah.
thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great evening. Let's stay tuned. Keep in touch.